Por favor, abre a porta do elevador. Eu tô com um pouquinho de medo, mas eu sei que o Senhor cuida de mim. Amém.
With Nip Hustle, big shout out to SPR, Spotter Low. You know I'm in the black box, had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe, stay tuned, all that.
All that and then some until the end come. Hit these YouTube streets, find a corner and bend one. Y'all know how we do around this time. Shout out to the Panda. Y'all know we feeding up with the Panda. And the Panda had Umar, Kanye, Jay-Z, Diddy, all in the same title. I'm like, man, Fee-Nucket. We finna react to this. So I just loaded it up. So with no further ado, let's see what the Panda claim this crew has been up to.
You ever notice how every time a black man gets too powerful, too rich, too loud, he suddenly becomes the villain?
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
Malcolm, Martin, Tupac, Nipsey, Diddy, and Dr. Umar just said what most been scared to even whisper. They're publicly lynching.
Well, he putting Umar in a, well, I guess he not putting them in that list, but he put Nipsey in a cold list right there. Rest in peace to the homie.
Diddy to warn Jay-Z and Kanye. See, this ain't about crimes or court dates. It's about control, psychological warfare. They don't hang you from trees no more. They hang you on timelines. So we're gonna break down exactly what Umar.
Well, I don't know, cause been quite a few of us found on trees lately. I don't know about that one, Panda. You might want to do some recent research. And we didn't get up on them trees by ourselves. I don't care what nobody say.
Meant the history behind this symbolic lynching, how the media became the new noose, and why every black mogul out here is walking on invisible landmines. Grab your seat, cause this one gonna sting a little. Let's talk about how they teach by example. So here's what Dr. Umar said, and it's wild once you really think about it. They're publicly lynching Diddy to warn Jay-Z and Kanye. Bruh, that's not just clickbait. That's a whole psychological operation wrapped in a sentence. What he's talking about ain't just about Puff getting caught up. It's about the ritual, the public humiliation, the message behind it. Cause look, when they want to kill a movement, they don't always use bullets. They use embarrassment. They strip you of dignity, legacy, and power on camera. And they broadcast that fall like a movie over and over till every young black man with ambition gets the message. Don't ever think you bigger than the system. And Diddy, he was more than a rapper. He was a symbol, a man who touched the White House, moved billions, owned liquor, owned media, touched politics. Too much control for comfort. So now the world watches him fall. The headlines, the clips, the raids, the leaks, all playing out like a live execution. And Umar's point, it's deeper than Diddy. It's a warning. See, Umar wasn't just pulling this out of thin air. History's already shown the pattern. Every time a black man stands up, builds something or challenges the system, he becomes a lesson. Malcolm X, televised martyrdom. Martin Luther King, national broadcast. Tupac, character assassination before the bullets even hit. Nipsey, they made sure we saw the footage, bruh. And you ever notice? With white leaders, they buried the trauma. Abraham Lincoln, top 5 president, but where's his death photo?
Shit, I don't even know. Like, I can't even tell you that. Like,
JFK, shot on live camera, but they hide the real footage. But with black leaders, it's front page.
I mean, we had the Charlie Kirk very recently, and those other incidents are of an older age, a different time. I think I've seen stills of JFK as well as MLK, I believe.
Every angle, every drop of blood. That's psychological warfare. You don't just kill the man, you kill the hope attached to him. You traumatize the people watching. so the next generation grows up scared to even try to lead. That's what Umar means by public lynching. It ain't about ending one man. It's about making all of us think twice before we rise.
They take them out in a way that make people fearful to like step up.
Oh, absolutely. It's one of the reasons why.
It's crazy they discussing this dynamic, because I can discuss it from two different angles. For one, when you hear about like the Romans and Jesus and the crucifixion, that was said to be a practice of where they would put you up on that cross for like 3 days and torture you, demean you, and disrespect you, so people can see the penalty for doing whatever it is you was charged with doing. It would put your crime up above your head. But then there's a other theory of public display of violence towards someone that's standing for a cause or a member of a certain group, to where you get the martyr effect. And that happened a lot within the Protestant Reformation here within America, when they were coming from up under the rule of Catholicism. Often, I believe it was Polycarp, and people like himself lost their lives for the movement, and it will often spark a bigger movement. They said, Chris, don't die, we multiply. Even though how many funerals we go to, look how deep it is. Even in Christianity, they celebrate the death of Jesus more than the resurrection and the life he lived. The death, it's a common thing.
They constantly broadcast the execution, or at least the death. If you notice, Abraham Lincoln is one of the most famous presidents in American history. A racist, but one of the most famous presidents in American history. You can hardly find a death photo of him. John F. Kennedy, very famous also. You can find death photos of Kennedy, but not as often as you will find death photos of King and Malcolm.
Wow.
In other words, when they assassinate our leaders, they put those bodies on display as a conditioning for other Africans to never attempt or even dream of following in their footsteps.
I'm not sure everything that we see is that calculated. Not saying that the government, the enemy, the system, white supremacy is not calculated, but I don't believe every single thing is this direct, exact calculation like he trying to make it sound.
Those murders, going back to the Willie Lynch letter, they don't murder African leaders just to eliminate that particular threat at that particular time. They murder African leaders as a lesson to all of those would-be leaders who will be coming in their path. If we go back to the Willie Lynch letter, whether the letter is authentic or not is irrelevant. The psychological science of it is true and exact. In that Willie Lynch letter, it talks about making an example of the biggest and the boldest in front of the women, children, and the other men. That's what Malcolm's assassination was about. That's what King's assassination was about. You know, that's what Diddy Kamafi's assassination was about. Amilcar Cabral, Thomas Sankara, Maurice Bishop. Their assassinations were examples to would-be leaders, because again, with most black children being raised by their mothers across the diaspora, not just America, across the diaspora, so many of our children are raised by the mother. What does Willie Lynch say? If you abuse that man in public, the mother will raise her son to be a coward.
Wow.
That's the playbook. From the plantations to the tabloids, same script, new actors. Now, what Umar's really talking about here is psychological warfare. See, it goes all the way back to that old Willie Lynch blueprint. Break the spirit, not just the body. He said it straight up. When you punish the boldest one in front of everybody, the rest will behave. That's the science of control, bruh. You make an example. You turn a man's downfall into a cautionary tale. That's what they did on plantations. They beat one slave in public so the rest wouldn't run. And now they just changed the tools. Instead of whips, they used the media. Instead of ropes, they used court cases, headlines.
I don't know, forgive me, but making such a direct correlation and a metaphor with the whips and what they do to these celebrities, to me, kind of like takes away from what our ancestors actually experienced. I kind of get the similarity in the concept, but to make it seem like one has replaced the other makes it seem like what Diddy is going through is equivalent to being stripped in front of your family in public, beaten, buck broken, and etc. so forth and so forth. I say it's a big difference. When we think about the buck breaking process, and then we think about Diddy willingly participating in activities like that, it's a big difference, bro. Big difference.
Mugshots and memes. Instead of hanging you from a tree, they hang you on the front page, and the people watch again and again. And whether you realize it or not, that repetition programs fear deep in your subconscious. See what happens when you step out of line? That's why Umar said it don't even matter if that Willie Lynch letter was real or not. The psychology of it is real. The conditioning still works.
I don't understand from his position as a leader of black issues, I don't understand the benefit of him casting doubt on whether or not that letter is real. Allow the lay people amongst us to debate that. If you're going to utilize it for reference in public, why even lend credit to the concept or the idea or the doubt that it's authentic?
It's modernized, digitized, monetized, but it's the same damn trick. You can't fight what you don't recognize. And that's exactly why Umar dropped that line, not just to defend Diddy, but to remind us that fear is the oldest chain on earth.
The mother will raise her son to be a coward for fear that the same thing that happened to the father will happen to the son. So that's why you don't see unapologetic, politically and economically unapologetic black men as much as you used to. Definitely not in the United States, because they will publicly lynch and symbolically castrate you, Sean Puffy Combs, who may have been guilty of some crimes, but did nothing more than any other white mogul has done in that same space.
I find it odd he'll throw that blanket statement out there, but when he says Sean Puffy Combs, he has no other white name to counter that with. He has no other white activities, victims. He just be popping it a lot of times.
But we're going to publicly castrate and lynch you since you want to start this black political party. And since you want to sue Diageo, this powerful white liquor company, we need Jay-Z to know we're not going to tolerate this. We need Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey. We need Rihanna. We need Tiger Woods, not to say that he would, but we need Tiger Woods and Serena and Kanye to know we won't tolerate this kind of stuff.
Bruh, let's be real. The media done turned into the new plantation. Except now, the whips are words, and the masters own networks instead of cotton fields. You think you just scrolling? Nah, you watching digital executions. They take the black man with the biggest reach, strip him naked in front of millions and call it justice. But it's not justice. It's entertainment. It's trauma.
If we classify it as such every time somebody had to deal with the consequences, we're just going to eliminate accountability amongst us.
On repeat. Click, share, repost, monetize. They profit off the pain and sell you fear in HD. And the wildest part, we participate. We retweet, remix, react, not realizing we're the new crowd at the hanging tree. We've just replaced the ropes with comment sections. That's why Umar said what he said. This whole Diddy thing ain't random. It's orchestrated. Every camera flash, every leaked clip, every exclusive headline, perfectly timed.
I'm not buying it. Panda's still cooking on that issue. I think you reap what you sow. We've been taught that since a child. I don't believe they allow certain individuals to have so much access to excess. Yes, access to excess in order just to shimmy, shammy, whammy, whammy, and snatch it back. I believe accountability is a word that is almost extinct, not just amongst us, but in society in general. And I think, you know, Diddy, just Umar, gonna have to face some. You pop it big publicly, you betray the public, it's just karmatic, or, you know, the law of the universe, yin yang, you reap what you sow. I don't know if karmatic is a word, I just thought it would be, for it to come back on you publicly. You know, the same people that got to watch you pop that bush could watch you go through some bush. I necessarily have to celebrate it, but do get to observe, because everybody is grabbing object lessons in life. The do's, the don'ts, the shoulds, the shouldn'ts. You dig a lies. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Hanging with the wrong, you want to be a follower, you following people. Only 12 years old though, like you not even understanding. You done threw your whole fucking life away for nothing though. Boy, you is crazy as hell. You just don't know. They gonna give you some time because you got something to do with it. You was there. You just ain't understanding where I was from. I can't even do nothing. They won't even tell me nothing, what you charged with, nothing. Because they want you to tell what the you see.
With that puzzle. Big shout out to SPI, spotter low. You know, I'm in the black box, had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned, all that.